Yo, yo, Belgrave Jolp here, aka Jolp Gamer. Uh, Showing some stuff. Six Dan black belt on Toribash. Been playing this since like 2008 when I was, I guess it would have been 13, 13, 14. Yeah, this fun game, pretty awesome. Has some martial arts stuff in it. Very tactical. I'll give you a little rundown of how the game works before I get into this replay I want to show you, featuring a technique I call the stylish wind. Not to be confused with the seismic wind technique I can do in real life, because the seismic wind doesn't work in Toribash. It's just not enough control for you to do that. So stylish wind. Before I show that off, I'm going to do a little free play, give you a sense of how the game works. So essentially, you have your character, the one that's you see this like kind of like image of a ghost, visual ghost falling off of him. That's the character that's selected. You can actually, if you're playing in free play, you can select a different character as well, right? So you can just switch which character you have selected, right? Now it gives you a number of options. You can actually click and it'll cycle through all the different options, right? So you see the dark red on these joints is holding, right? So it'll hold its place. It's using a lot of force to do that, right? Then relaxing, it it's more it bends freely, right? And then you also have extending, right? And so it's like that's like rotational force, and then you have contracting, which is the inverted rotational force, right? And then so you can click to cycle through those. You can also do some keyboard shortcuts with Z for toggling extending and contracting, and you can do X for toggling holding and relaxing. And then you can do C for toggling, holding, and relaxing everything, right? Now, whenever I start a match, right, I always hold all, right? So my character, the one that I've customized, is actually this one, the guy right here with the light blue and then the red, right? So when I hold, as you can see, when I hold all, as you can see, the joints turn very, very bright. It's like a very noticeable red, right? And when I relax, it's all this light blue color. So it's visually very obvious the difference between holding and relaxing, right? And that's going to play a point. That's going to play a part intuitively just for how I play, because I never have that confusion of whether I'm holding or relaxing. Because some characters, like what they'll do is like, because you can customize the colors, like you can get different skins and stuff and themes and stuff like that. And some people choose to have their hold and relax be the same color, right? But if you do that, then it's not as visually obvious whether you're holding or relaxing. So I like to make things visually identifiable. So like I want to be able to visually distinguish the states that the character's in, right? I think that's just like it's more intuitive that way. So usually I start off. Your character by default is just relaxing all. So first I hold, and then I start to do some other stuff. So let's say I'm gonna rotate the chest, rotate the pecs, relax the elbows, and as you can see, you're seeing a force feedback on the right hit, right? So I want to compensate for that. I actually want to account for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an extend, right? Now you see you have a much more striking attack, right? Now I'm looking at where it's hitting. It's going towards the face. I don't want to hit the face. We're going to the body, right? So I'm going to actually use the abs, extend that, or no, contract that, and then it's going to aim a little bit lower, right? Now I can try also relaxing the arm, the right shoulder, and now you see that the strike is going straight across. That's exactly what I want, right? Now We could do some stuff. We could try relaxing the ankle, but if you see if I relax the ankle, then I don't really have much power for the strike, right? Now, I actually do want to do that anyway. I want to reduce the power. You'll see why in a bit. So we're gonna do this strike. Now I'm gonna do a very common attack strategy that enemies will do in Aikido, right? Which is they like to do both hands. They like to clap, right? They like to do the clap. They like to grab with both hands, but usually there's a rotation to it, right? So say he's rotating from, hang on, probably this side, right? So he's trying to do the clap, right? He's trying to do the clap. Sometimes they start with one hand, and you know they're just trying to get ready for the. Basically, what they expect is that you're going to try to grab with both arms, and if you grab with both arms, like if you're both holding each other's hands, then the match goes really slow. It's always slow. If you're both grabbing, it's always really slow. It's harder to predict because for the ghost that you see, this visual ghost that you see, it's let's see. Actually, how did I do that? I just press V. Oh, V toggles grab. Oh, V toggles grab for both hands. Interesting. I didn't know that. And what does B do? Huh. Toggles the ghost. Okay. So either way, what you're seeing here, you're seeing a ghost that shows both characters, right? Now the tricky part is in multiplayer, you don't know what your opponent's going to do. So even if you can see the ghost of what that character's doing, it's not necessarily accurate. In fact, it's almost never accurate because they're gonna, if they change even one joint movement, then what happens is, you get a totally different ghost, right? So you don't really know what they're gonna do. So let's see, let's get this right. He's doing a good tactical move, and let's start with that. So I'm gonna hit spacebar. That's gonna have both characters play out the move that they've done. Now, typically there'd be a timer of I think it's like 60 seconds. I don't know how long it is, but there's like a timer. You see where it says 500. There's a timer that would show you how much time you have to select your move, right? And if you do a quick mode, because in the public servers, there's a number of servers, there's modes called quick Aikido, like quick Judo, just quick modes. And the quick modes have a shorter period of time for you to select your actions. So I believe it is actually 60 seconds for normal modes, and maybe it's 30 seconds for like a quick, I don't know. But yeah, so let's do this, space, right? So now as you can see, time forwarded 10 seconds, right? Now you see this move. My character is not even, oops, let's relax that. My character is not even grabbing, right? But he grabbed my hand, right? Now, you see that he grabbed my hand, I didn't grab his yet, right? But I'm in a very easy position to grab, since grab is basically like it just makes your hand sticky, right? So his hand is always stuck to mine. If I make my hand sticky, then now I'm grabbing, right? Now, I don't know if you can see, there's a little green sphere that indicates a grab. Now, the interesting thing here, you do have the option of not grabbing and just flinging them around without grabbing. But the disadvantage to that is if they stop grabbing in a position where you are off balance, then you'll fall, right? So the reason I grab is for extra security, such that if he stops grabbing, it doesn't matter because I'm still grabbing, right? So now that I've got him with the one arm, right, now he can try to You know, he could try to like bring his arm around and try to grab me, which they usually do. He can try to go for the grab, right? And what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna want to dodge that, right? Now I don't know that he's gonna go for the grab, but I can expect it, right? So I'm just going to act accordingly and make sure I get out the way. So let's extend the wrist, extend the arm, move the shoulder out the way. We're gonna rotate the torso. Actually, let's keep the chest intact because I don't want to jump too much if I don't have to. So I relax this. Because basically one thing is that you want to stay in stance. You definitely want to stay in stance. You definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you're like off the ground. That's disadvantageous. But I definitely need to dodge that arm. So if I do this, he still grabs me, right? So I definitely want to dodge that arm. So see if I do something like this, he still grabs me. So I just need to make sure he doesn't grab me, right? So I do this, and actually we're gonna do it with the since I couldn't find an efficient way to dodge the jump or dodge keep from getting off the ground. I'm just gonna forfeit one of the legs and see what I can do with like some sort of rotational kick move, just so I can keep my balance. Now, in an actual match, you wouldn't have time to make all these decisions because you just don't have time. But for the sake of this example, since I do have infinite time, because this is free mode, I wanted to show the logic in its most efficient capacity. Now, this ankle that I relaxed before, since it was in a relaxed state, it's easier to just launch off, right? I could even bring it up a little bit, or I could put it down. Now, if I bring it up, as you can see, it doesn't really help much for the velocity. If I extend it, you see there's like a jump effect, right? But the jump effect's not that much, so I'll just keep it relaxed. And if you notice, the relaxed one is actually the most fast. It has the most momentum. So let's just leave it at that, and let's try that. Boom. I'm gonna just advance another frame. Boom. Boom. You see, now in this position, you could say, oh, maybe you're at a disadvantage, right? But this is one of those modes where you have a lot of freedom, right, in terms of what you could do. So I'm gonna put my arm down, right? I'm gonna relax it just in case, because I want to make sure that regardless of what happens, regardless of what moves he does, I want to have the absolute most control or like preparedness. So let's see. Do this so we can land. So now the arm's coming down, lands like that. Make sure the ankle is contracted. Very important, because if my ankle lands like this, I can land on my knee. Now, if you land on your knee in an Aikido match, that's a disqualification, right? So I definitely don't want to be disqualified. Extend the wrist as well. Just make sure I have the maximum protection from a joint DQ, right? Now, I could extend the arm, but I'm going to just hold it, keep it simple. And something like this, right, where he landed on his head, that would be a disqualification. Just like that. That would be a disqualification. So I think there's a way to end the match if you hit R. I think that ends it. Let me hit R. Let's see if that does it. Boom. Okay. So that's a technique that would be very effective in an Aikido match, right? It's You see the move is pretty stylish, very efficient. The main thing is you have to avoid the double grab. In Aikido, people love to do the double grab. You need to make sure they do not grab both your hands. Like your hands cannot be both grabbing. You have to avoid that because that's like a compromise. If you're both grabbing each other's hands, it's a compromise, and the match can go either way, right? If you're grabbing them and you only got one hand and they're too far away to grab your other hand, particularly if you dodge their second grab, then that puts you at a very high tactical advantage, especially if you have the better grounding, the better footing. So that's a little demo there. Now I'm going to show you that replay I was talking about before. Right, let's go here, replays, and I'll show you the stylish win Aikido strategy. Let's see, multiplayer sparring. Okay, boom, view. Now in this one, notice it says Yuk versus Heidekare, right? Or Hatakare, right? So basically the idea here is that Yuk, the blue character, is the challenger, and in this case it's Heidekare, but or Hatakare, but that's the victor, you know, the standing victor, right? Now in this situation, I was actually playing as what is being shown as Yuk, right? This is a multiplayer match. What happened though is that I was playing quick Aikido. What happened though is that I actually I didn't realize how the replay system works in Toribash. So essentially, I saved the replay as an autosave from a match. You know, after the end of a match, it says F to save replay. So I saved the replay. And then I renamed the replay because it wasn't allowing me to upload it to the server. Now I realized that if you actually do, I was like just being, I guess, like very particular. I only wanted to have one file, right? So I was like, all right, I don't want to have two files with, you know, it's the same, you know, the same match, but with a different, you know, visual, right? Or you know, a different name, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let me delete the old one. So I deleted the autosave, and what I realized is that, like, I didn't notice at the time, the autosave showed that it was an actual match. The second save doesn't show that. But either way, point is you get to see the technique in full effect. This is a real multiplayer match. I was playing as Yuk. The other character, I forgot what the character's name was. You can see they went for the double grab, and you can see they were completely unsuccessful with it. And they were very efficiently wrung out, and they landed on a joint. So even if they'd landed in the circle, or even if they landed in the square, they still would have been disqualified. So yeah, very effective technique. I did do the flashy jump at the end. I have a tendency to, once I know I'm gonna win, you know, just relax a bit or do some more fancy stuff that, you know, at some point my character will hit the ground. But since I know they're going to disqualify long before they have the opportunity to respond to that, I can just do that. So that's why, you know, my character lands on his posterior. You know, the Yuk character lands on his posterior, despite that being, you know, what would be a disqualification. It's like, no, because disqualification is irrelevant. It's erroneous because I already disqualified the other character. So that's basically it. Stylish Win Aikido strategy in Toribash. Again, you know, my character is my rank is 6th Dan black belt in the game, and yeah.